I'm the Vegapunk, man, the one and only, the biggest brain, the most well-known man with an apple on my head. I am Vegapunk himself, basically, at this point, because I'm the big brain scientist man that you all know me as Mr. Pow. Well, today we're going to be taking this deck into OP12, and let me tell you, I think it's going to be miserable. These OP12 decks just stomp on Vegapunk. I take green Zoro, you rest my characters, you attack them, and then you attack me, my little 2 life over here, me just a little boy, just doing my little things, and we'll just see what happens, I guess, because you will see a lot of the new leaders being played against today and how we go against them. So I'm excited to bring you this OP12 Vegapunk deck list. I hope you like, I hope you subscribe, I hope you leave a comment, and let's get straight into that deck profile. Well, here is the Vegapunk man. And today we're going to be running 3 of the Kuma. I believe we may be running 4 in the deck. I don't remember in the actual moment. This is the new OP12 addition to Vegapunk, as we don't have OP13, which has a lot of newer, cooler, better cards. But for now, we're running with Kuma. And I don't know how I feel about this card yet. I'm interested to see how it does in the games when we play it. We're going to be playing the new Kuma. That's the goal of today. It says, on play, you may trash 1 card from your hand, add the top card of your deck to your life. Then this character gains +2 cost. It also says, opponent's turn, on KO, add the top card of your deck to the top of your life. So if you want to get rid of this 6-drop 7k, you will be giving me life. And as a 2-life leader, this is important. This can actually work against us as Vegapunk, which I think a lot of people haven't picked up on. If you're a good player, you can learn that sometimes giving them more life is detrimental, because you lose cards like this Luffy effect and some niche other cards that can't be KO'd in battle by having less life. Stuff like that really can change a matchup, and it also can change triggers themselves. The idea of Vegapunk is to aggressively take down our opponents. We tap 1 Dawn, we play a character with the egghead type with a cost of 5 or less out as active, or you just add it to the top of your life face up. So we can add any of these egghead type characters to the top of our life. The only cards we cannot add are going to be Kuma, which we just went over, 8-drop Katakuri, which puts a 8 cost on the top or bottom of the owner's life, our own or our opponent's, depending on what we need to do in the situation, and Narakaboru Arrow. I call this Nora Beam Sword 7 times today. If you have 2 or less life cards in your life area, give up to one of your opponent's characters or leaders -3,000 power. This is played specifically for the Zoro matchup because you need something like this for Zoro. This becomes a yellow staple in the future. Anytime going forward, this is going to be a very important card. Market watch this right now. You need to buy this card for OP12. This card is good if you're going to be a yellow player in this format. Narakaboru Arrow. Really good stuff right there. You have Lilith, which is a top 5 searcher for Egghead. Edison, which is a draw 2, trash 2 if you have 2 or less life and plays itself as a trigger. This also plays itself for a trigger. Frankie plays itself as a trigger. This is just a draw 1, but it's one of the most important, newest, bestest cards out there for Vegapunk. Vegapunk himself. Blocker, on play, look at the top 5 cards, play 1 scientist type card with a cost of 5 or less, then place the rest at the bottom of the deck in any order. If your opponent has 2 or less characters, trash 1 card from your hand. So if we're going against a going wide deck, we can play this out for basically free and go wide ourselves. And if not, we only discard 1 card, which we can refill our hand later with cards you'll see in a moment. Really good stuff. It cheats out cards like Atlas, which can't be KO'd if we have less life than our opponent. Lilith, which is a top 5 searcher we went over. The Edison, we've already been over. It plays out Shaka, which is a 6k blocker that also has a trigger to play itself. And Pythagoras, which on KO if you have 2 or less life, summon a 4 cost or lower from your trash rested. Really good targets here. The rest are not going to be available targets. You cannot target Vegapunk himself. You cannot target Frankie. And you cannot target Luffy, Nami, or S-Snake. We are playing 2 of the Luffy and 2 of the S-Snake here. Luffy is 1 card that says if you have 2 or less life, KO one of your opponent's 4 or lower cost characters, then draw 1 card. Replacing itself and popping the 4 cost is good. It can work out when you need it to. It's really good into certain decks that play 4 cost characters. Right now, that's not many, so I've actually opted more for the S-Snake, but in certain situations, you do want the Luffy to control the board against decks like Rayleigh and such. The Luffy does come up. There's also decks where S-Snake is just unusable, because you cannot stop a character named Luffy from attacking. It says up to one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 6 or less other than Monkey D. Luffy cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. Not being able to stop Luffy kind of sucks, because our purple-black Luffy matchup's not great. We don't play it today, but that is one we'll have to come back to in the future. It just don't work. Because cards like this, it doesn't stop the 6-drop 7k rush Luffy. That sucks. That's all I gotta say about it. Honestly, that just sucks. We might play green-purple today. I don't remember. We may use a different deck profile on accident. We did use a couple deck profiles on accident that weren't the correct ones, but we were cooking today with Vegapunk. At least that's what I'd like to say. We're going into OP12, so we'll have to see how this really goes. We do have the 5-drop Nami, amazing SP right there, still like $250, $300, insane stuff. You may trash one card from your hand with trigger. From your hand, you may trash one card with a trigger from your hand, kill up to one of your opponent's characters at a cost of 5 or less. Then if you have 3 or less cards in your hand, draw one card. So it's good for filtering out cards that are maybe bricks or just to draw through the deck. We can do anything with a trigger, so it can do events as well, so when we don't need these events, we can use them. Our top end is literally just the Kuma and the Katakuri. You don't run much top end in an aggro version. We can do a more top end oriented version of Vegapunk, but I don't find it working too well in the current format, especially because people have really learned how to play around a deck that's built about just lasting and like going late game and not really as aggro as Vegapunk can really be. We have 4 of the Please Save Me or Rayquaza Help, as it's known in English. If you have 2 or less life cards, give one of your opponent or one of your leaders or characters plus 3,000 power. Hold up, and then trigger, play one 5-cost or lower egghead type character from your trash. And hey, that's just really good. You can use this to play out a blocker, which basically gives you 2 life for 1 card. This is one of the most important cards in the deck to stay alive and stabilize. This is very needed because you can play cards to KO characters, to stop attacks, to block, be anti-removal, to draw. You can choose any of these as options to play, so this card is very good. We are playing 2 of the Narikaburo Arrow. This card is really good, like I said, for Zoro, but it can come up in other matchups. 7 is just an annoying number, so only having to tap 1 Dawn and having 6 ways to get out of it for only 1 card in hand is really good. Running 4 of Dareshi, which is a very good top 5 searcher. Looks at the top 5, grabs 2 cards with triggers, and that's going to be most of the deck. As you can see, it's everything but our top end here, so we can roll over the Kumas and the Katakuris, but we can grab everything else. So usually it's good for finding counter or cards. We're only running 4 2K or 8 2Ks total in the deck. That's how Vegapunk usually is. So if you're going against Vegapunk, just remember, if you've seen 8 2Ks, you've seen every single one they have, other than maybe their 1-cost events. This is my personal build for OP12 going forward. I hope you enjoyed today's videos, and going against OP12 oriented leaders. We will probably have a few other matches in there. I'm not quite sure. Honestly, I don't remember. But I'm excited to play Vegapunk. As always, I will be playing Vegapunk any day of the week if you need me. So, hey, let's get straight into those games. We're going to take game number 1 against Marshall D. Teach. They're going to go full lead early, which really sucks. They're going to drop the Van Augur, grab a Kuzan, and continue on with their day. We're not going to continue on with ours very well, especially if they're going to start playing like this. We're going to go Pythagoras and pass. Pythagoras is really good. On KO, plays out a 4-cost character. They don't really have any way to KO it this early because it's 5 costs. You need to go stronger. .Q, which is not great. Actually, I don't even know if that gets it. I think .Q KO 0 cost. I'm not sure. They gotta grab a stronger with the Hachinosu. They're going to swing 8 at us. We're going to take no trigger. That's actually one of the worst triggers you can get early. That and the S-Snake are the worst triggers to have. We're going to go 6 at our opponent just to not give them info on what we're really going to be working on. We're going to look at the top 5 cards, grab 2. We're going to grab a Shaka and a Nami. I think we have enough 2Ks, and I want to force them to use their leader effect sometime soon. We're going to go and deploy the Shaka here and then pass to our opponent's turn. We're down to 1 life. I think swinging in this matchup, the Marshall D. Teach should not be doing. They have Van Augur, so we know .Q, we know Van Augur, and we know they have Kuzan. So they could go Kuzan here and set up. Well, they dropped the other Van Augur, it looks like, so they have double Van Augur. So, no, they just grabbed another Van Augur, that's right. Interesting, another 8 at us. I'm going to take this and use the trigger. I am a little confused about this situation. They're going to stop our on-play effects, which is actually really okay. It's kind of annoying because we can't use the ace for rush or anything, but what I can do is go 6 at our opponent, and then I can go 6 more at our opponent, and then I can go 6 more at our opponent. They really need the finger gun trigger. That's the big thing with Teach. A lot of people talk about this matchup and try to tell me that it's not a good matchup for us, and I'm really confused on that one. I'm not going to lie. I'm really confused on why people think that. Because look at what we're doing here. We're going to go ahead and add to the top of our life. Just to be safe, we're going to put the Please Save Me. We could put anything else, but I think Please Save Me is the best. We could go Nami, but then they could just go Kuzan attack. They could just do nothing and then we don't KO the .Q. But we can counter first to then get value out of the Rayquaza. And then if they want to try to move these bodies, that's fine too. They can't KO Atlas because we have more life or less life than them. They can KO the Pythagoras off the rip. Because we don't have any 4-cost in the trash, but if they attack first, we'll have to put a 4-cost in the trash just to be safe. They're going to discard the Marshall D. Teach, grab a Van Augur. So we know they have Van Augur, Kuzan. They go Kuzan, trash the Kuzan, play the Van Augur. Now they can KO a 5-cost. We know they have a stronger in hand, so they can now go stronger, discard 1 card, draw 1 card, and minus 2 cost to a character. So they can probably minus down the Pythagoras here to not worry about the on-KO ability. They also could go for the ace as well. Our opponent has options, for sure. We'll have to see what they decide to do. They get rid of a 10 cost Teach with that Stronger. They get rid of our Ace. And they're going to swing 6 into Atlas here, which we're going to let go. We should have probably countered it because obviously you can. We could have at least been like, hey, in case they would have attacked the right target. But they just clicked the wrong one completely. Even with that, though, we just drop a 1K. Probably the Vegapunk, then play it out with the Please Save Me. Even without our leader effect being active, that's still perfectly fine with me. For now, what we're going to do is think about, are we worried about the removal here? I think we're worried about the Dot Q. We've seen them put 2 Van Augers. How many Van Augers are in the trash? 2. We know they have 1 in hand, so they could go 7 cost for removal, so maybe it's better to remove the Van Auger here. Maybe it's better to remove nothing at all. I think that's something we have to figure out. We could just go Face here, which I don't mind pressuring Face. Then we have 2 additional Dawn, then we can go 5 and 1. So I think what we're going to do here is go 5 in a Face and then decide what to do here. If they take this so easily, now we're going to go 7, and we're going to force them to basically counter out. They go this in my age and grab a Dot Q, so it's not worth removing the Dot Q. We're going to go 7 in a Face and force 2 cards out of our opponent's hand, which is totally fine with me. And we're going to allow them to basically set up some removal in this next turn. We're going to go another 7 into Face, and now it's like, even if you remove all these bodies, we're going to have more bodies on the board. That's kind of my thought process here. We're going to go boom, we're going to deploy a card, we're going to deploy the Lilith because it has no counter and it gives us another body on the board, and we're just going to go absolutely wide. So we're still sitting on 2, 4, 5, 6K counter. We can play a blocker from our trash because we have a blocker to counter out with. So even if they hit us here, we don't get value out of the Rayquazars, their thought, but then we just go no, 2K, 2K, 1K. We get out of the attack because they had to split here. They could have gone 10-10. We could have gotten out of that with the 1K. And we just resolve the attack. Now we have a blocker in the trash, so even if they hit us, they can hit us for 6, right? Instead, they just go remove Lilith and get gamed. Get gamed. I think you just have to out-aggro your opponent, just swing as soon as you can in this matchup, and not worry about trying to get value out of your own plays. Yes, they messed up with the Atlas there, so we could have been 1K less, and then if they split 10 and 10, we would probably lose. But what we could actually do is actually just counter out. Fun fact, we didn't even have to counter out of that attack. What we could have done is force them to have the removal. We could have gone take the attack but counter out with 1 Vegapunk. Then we go Please Save Me. We go Please Save Me, play out the Vegapunk we just countered out with, put a blocker on the board. Now they would have to play out the Laboon to minus it down, and then Dot Q to KO it. They would not have any Dawn left to really swing in. They could go 9K. And then after that math, we would go 2K, 2K, 1K. We use the 1K there for the Please Save Me, or we just block out of it if they can remove the Vegapunk. So, hey, GG's to our opponent. On to the next game. We're going to test out this Kuzan matchup. We do not have a good matchup into Kuzan. We don't have a good matchup into a lot of the modern deck. And it freaking sucks because this is my freaking deck, man. So we are getting the 9 cost in OP13, the 9 cost Bonnie, the 7 cost Stussy, and so many more amazing cards. The issue is just really getting there, getting to OP13 and then going against the OP13 power creep that occurs. How are we supposed to take on freaking Red Black Sabo and decks like that? This is probably about the best we're going to get for early game removal, so we will keep this hand. I think I'm going to go Monkey D. Luffy early, just to go ahead and have it on the board. So we're going to go Monkey D. Luffy and then pass. I'm probably not going to swing on this next turn, just so that they can't attack very heavily into my character. We will go, actually, now that we've drawn the Lilith, I think I'm going to go 7. I'm going to play Lilith and then have one up for Nora Beam Sword. I actually don't think that's a horrible idea. So we're going to go 7. I was not planning on swinging at all, but then we have all that, and Nora Beam Sword's pretty good. They go Pheasant Peck early? Okay. Okay. You're telling me we have a chance to win, brother, because what was that? What was that? Respectfully, what was that? We're going to grab a Vegapunk for later. We're going to leave Katakuri up here. Katakuri's pretty good for this matchup just because they play so many big bodies. We're going to sit here on the Nora Beam Sword. I think that's going to be important if they do attack very heavily. They just go 6. I don't really want to stop at anything I don't want to waste a Nora Beam Sword because we are going to need that at some point. I will give them a 1K counter for sure. We're going to give them I think we're going to give them the Vegapunk here. I think we're going to hold the S-Snake for whenever they go on their 6th turn to stop the Kuzan, even if it does get the +1 cost. We can't hit it if it does get the +1 cost, but we can hit it if it does not. They're going to discard the Aramaki and then get to draw 2 cards from the top of their deck. So they're going to have 6 cards, and they're going to draw another card. So they went from 6 cards in hand to 7. They go +1. They grab Zephyr. They grab another Aramaki, and then they get to draw a card with the leader effect here. Absolutely insane. This deck, don't even get me started. We're going to go 6 in a face. Do I want to pop this to pop the Sengoku? I wouldn't mind it, that's for sure. But also I could S-Snake. It just sucks. There's not much value out of S-Snake right now. We need to draw more stuff, but I think we're just going to go 6. I think we're just going to go 5. We're going to go Frankie, and then we're going to go... Dang, dude, this really depletes our hand. This kind of sucks. We're going to have to pop this, draw a card. At least we get an Edison to filter through the deck. Draw 2. We're going to trash 2. We're going to trash the Nami, because I don't really think they're going to have any 5 cost to play. And we're going to trash the Beam, or not Narakabaru Arrow. Yep. I keep calling it Beam Sword. That is not what it is. We're going to deploy the Atlas. So now at least we have counter, and we found other pieces. We do have the 8-drop Katakuri coming in 2 turns. Our opponent's going to get their 8 curve, and then we're going to be able to drop Katakuri and gain a life. Is kind of the thought process in this situation. They're going to go 5 into 5. Well, they're going to drop a 6-drop Kuzan here, stopping one of our attacks. So we need to keep one of our attacks available. The issue is that they're going to have too many cards in hand for us to really handle it with the S-Snake here. So we're going to have to get out of this somehow. I think we're going to have to give them the 2K just in case we can get their hand size down a little bit. They go Red Rock. Okay, that is not what I expected. I'm going to be honest with you guys. We're just going to go 5 at face. They should counter out. I'm just trying to get cards out of hand at this point. We're going to have to go double S-Snake here for no effect. Like, kind of crazy. We could go for gaining a life, but it's just not worth gaining a life in this situation. That's the sucky part. It's like, if we gain a life with Rayquaza, we just kind of put ourselves pretty behind tempo-wise on the board. Like, we're just going to go 5. We're going to go 5. And then we're going to develop 2 S-Snakes just to get 2 bodies on the board. It's, again, not great at all. They have some kind of trigger here. We're trying to see. Be the block Pheasant Peck, trash 1 card, draw 1 card. So it's a draw 2, trash 1 in a way. Not great. Yep, it is the Pheasant Peck, which I could kind of, because they hesitated for so long. If it was a Gravity Blade trigger, you just bottom deck a character every time. Like, there's no reason not to. We go boom. We're going to choose no targets. We're going to go deploy. We're going to go boom. We're going to choose no targets and pass. So we develop 2 bodies to do absolutely nothing. Our opponent's going to be on 8 Dawn here. We're going to actually, I'm going to see what happens if we aggressively counter out to keep pressure on. But we have ruined our hand size. We need to Dareshi as soon as possible, but we're not going to have the time to do it next turn. What? They go to Shigi, look at the top 5 cards, and then Gravity Blade? How rude. 5? Dude, this sucks. They're not letting us have any fun. Then I'm going to deploy. I'm going to add a top of life, and then I'm going to deploy Edison. Not using its effect anyways, because it wouldn't really matter. We could have deployed the Edison first, draw 2, and then just trash the 2 cards, but you haven't seen a Boss Rush option or anything like that, so I was kind of waiting. Can they Kuzan the Katakuri? They go Garp into Kuzan, because Kuzan doesn't have a limit on... Oh, they go Aramaki. Okay. Now so they're going to have an 8K blocker on the board, which is really annoying. Well, I guess it's not that annoying for us. We can go... Gonna go really defensive here, it looks like. I'm gonna go 9. If we can go bigger than that, we can go 11. 11 here. So that would have force a block and a Pheasant Peck. So maybe we should have gone 10 and then 12 just to force a Aramaki block and a Pheasant Peck on top and a card. So we go 10, that would give them a little less value out of it. Then we go 12, they guarantee take. Gonna go big. 11. Now they should block and Pheasant Peck if they have it. If they don't have it, it sucks, but we should have gone 10-12 in this situation. Just because it would have been a little better. Because 10, it would force them to block and then use the Pheasant Peck. Then we could go 12 technically into the Aramaki if we wanted to control board. I would have gone into face, to be fair. Whoops. That made me want to quit. I clicked the wrong one. I literally just clicked the wrong one. Ugh. I hate video games where you can just misclick and it ruins the whole freaking game, but hey, it happens. We're gonna have to power through. Yep, we lose it. Then they get to remove our other body off the board. They go Sakazuki, sure. 5 and a 5, you got it. Bottom deck's a 2 cost. It doesn't do much for them. They can go Sengoku. They can just choose not to attack because they're building up a board. We should actually have 1 more life, technically, anyways. They grab a Tashigi and a Kuzan. Kuzan's really good, especially in our matchup we're going through. We should be on 5 life right here with 2 Rayquazars, which is insane. But we're still losing in this situation. Like, I think even with that extra life, like, just making it where they can't attack and we don't have them on a low enough life where they could attack us all 5 times. We win the next turn and we lose. They have 8 cards in hand. It shows you how miserable this matchup. It didn't matter if I messed up or not. We're gonna use the trigger. We're gonna play out a freaking Nami, discard, KO, draw card. It at least removes a body off the board, a potential attacker. Because now it makes them, if they want to go for lethal, a little worse. A little bit. Not much worse, because they still technically could go for lethal. All we did is clear up the body off the board for their Tashigi, which they were going to go Tashigi over top of Tashigi. They grab a Hina. I think we know that they have like 2K counters, and if we take this, we almost guaranteed lose. So we're going to take it. Draw, look at the top 5. We're going to grab a 2K counter just to have it in hand. They're going to go 8. We're going to go take. We're going to use the trigger to draw a card. Not a great one to draw. They could just go another 8. Yep, we're going to take. I'm going to go 6 on top of 8 is 14. So we're going to use the trigger, draw 2, trash 2. Basically the same thing we just had in our hand anyways. And now they just go 14 and win the game. Even if there was some way that we could go, counter, 3K counter, 3K counter, and get out of it, we actually only tie. So 2K, 2K, 1K. I only took those attacks because we kind of had to. But yeah, we knew they had a ton of counter. This matchup is just miserable in the first place. Even if we had that extra life, we just prolonged the game. Because I'm in the situation, I'd have to go 7-9-9. Or they could just go Kuzan, stop one attack. Okay, I can go 7-9 and then have to play a 5-cost ace. So I'd have to go, 7-7-8 in that situation. And 2K, they win the game. 2K, they just don't take another life. Oh, they have another 2K and a 1K coming in from the Kuzan trashing a card, trashing the other Kuzan, and then drawing a card. And then the Sakazuki filtering a card as well. So we can get out of every single attack that we could throw to win the game. And they had a Vegapunk coming up because they would not have to go for lethal in this situation, even if we did have that extra life. GG's. Oh my goodness, that matchup is miserable. All right, let's see how we do against Koala. They want to go second, so we want to go second. I'm going to keep this. We'll see what we can do here, what we can cook up. We're going to go Shaka on the first turn. And then we're going to go Dareshi and then go from there. We're going to go deploy, Shaka, pass. Pretty simple stuff right here. Usual Vegapunk tactics. Now it's going to force them to have to swing 6. If they swing 5, we just block out for free. They might as well. They could play a 3-cost Ivankov blocker. It isn't horrible. They're just going to go 8. I'm just going to take that all day. Get a body on the board. Sure, I ain't mad about it. I am not tripping, my friend. I am not tripping. I am actually pretty happy about that. I'm not going to lie to you. I am pretty freaking happy about that right now. We're going to go Dareshi. We're going to go 6 and then possibly another 6. Dareshi's just not great in this situation because they're going into 5, which is okay. But in a couple turns, we need to empty out our hand pretty quickly. So we will Dareshi, but then we need to worry about emptying out that hand, which is totally okay. It's because of the 6-cost Nico Robin that forces us to discard 2 cards. They may have some kind of trigger here. It's looking like they do because they are taking a while to decide on this. Nothing. Cool. I am going to go another 6. If they really want to pressure down my life, that's fine, but I'd rather guarantee have an extra attack. They have a Beige. I'm going to go Dareshi. I'm going to go... Removal is nice, but this KO is a 5-cost and not an original 5-cost, so it doesn't do much. So we're going to go 2K, 1K, and then I'm going to go Deploy Atlas. We can empty out our hand next turn with Vegapunk and another character. Bam! I love it. I love it. I like what's going on here. So now is where we start to empty out our hand for the 6-drop that we don't really want to deal with here for Koala. They're going to go Morley and then swing 6. 6 into 6 here, in which I will go 2K counter. The 2K that they do know that we have. Now I'm going to be able to go 5. No, we're going to go a bunch of 6s. 6, 6. We're going to go a bunch of 6s. I gotta check on my cat. Sorry, my cat was like weakened for a second. I'm going to go with the 5-cost here. We are going to play an Egghead Scientist from our deck. It's going to be Lilith. We're going to have to trash a card here, which is going to be a Vegapunk. We're going to be able to search a card from the top of our deck, which is going to be a... I'm going to grab a 2K counter here. Does this get original cost? No, it doesn't. I think we're going to go with the 2K counter, right? And then our opponent will get to force us to take a life. We're going to go add to the top of our life. I didn't think about that. Oh, I did not think about that. I should have chose no targets. Add to the top of our life. Rayquaza, pass. Because now if they do the Nico Robin, we just get cooked. Did not think about the Koala leader effect here. First time playing against Koala. They just go 6-drop, make us discard 2 cards, and then we're really, really cooked. We are cooked. Pretty bad. They go Liberation. KO 2 of your opponent's characters. Okay. Okay. So they don't do what we were worried about, so that's good at least. Okay. If we use a card to play a card, well, now we need to use the trigger now. Interesting, interesting. They can only go 5 and 5, which doesn't hit our 6-cost characters. They pop our Shaka and Lilith. I think we just take and then play out probably just a Shaka. Maybe a Lilith. No, a Shaka. Shaka for show. For show, it's going to be Shaka. For show. They're going to draw a Kuma here, a 4-cost Kuma for a 2K counter. I'm a little intrigued by what they're doing. We're going to use the trigger, and then we're going to play out the Shaka, because now if they swing 5, we just block out for free. They shouldn't have swung at all, honestly. That was not the best idea to swing, in my personal opinion. But hey, it is what it is. We're going to go 7, 7, 7. We need 1 to gain a life, so we have 4 additional. We could play out a Edison. We just have so much counter. So maybe we're going to go 6. No, we're just going to go 7, 7. Force them to counter out of these. Don't have to go for lethal or anything. We have a blocker on the board. We're gonna go double sevens. I'm gonna play out a 5 cost, but I'm not gonna use this ability. They just take and they go good game. So maybe we can aggro down this Koala leader. Maybe that's an option. But Kuma in the deck, Kuma's really good. I think that would have Kuma'd. I think I would have Nico Robin on that last turn. I'm gonna be real, because our hand counter is insane. And we could have gone Shaka and then gained a life with Shaka and then played the Nami on the board and set on 8k counter, 3 blockers and a life. Well, 2 blockers and a blocker in life, and then another character on the board. We were in a really good spot because they just did not do things correctly. Next turn they could have gone 8-drop Kid, burned our life, and then gone 6 and 5, something like that. Draw a card. They would have drawn into a card below Nico Robin, a 1k counter, set on 4k total. I wasn't going for lethal. I want that to be known. I was not going to put it all on Shaka and go for game. There's just no reason to. I just go gain a life and keep continuing on the game. GG's to our opponent. Interesting little match there. Now here is the list with the Kuma that we went over that a lot of people are going to talk about. So we're going to choose to go first in this situation. I think Rayleigh actually likes to go second, but I want to try it for the Kuma because this is our first match with the Kuma. We're going to low-key, this is a lot of removal. I'm actually going to keep this hand. We're going to go deploy a card, Luffy, pass. So now we have an attacker, an aggressor into our opponent that can also remove bodies off the board. Because they could go, what, Boa here? Then we can swing in 6. They're gonna go Buggy. Buggy's really good in this deck. I just sold my SP, Buggy myself. So they can still attack with Shakuyaku on the next turn. I don't know if I really want to use my removal for a card like Buggy. I think we're gonna go 7 in a face here. And then I am gonna pop Buggy to draw a card. And then I'm gonna go deploy a card, Luffy, and then pass. So we're sitting on 1 active Dawn. We have 2 rushers ourselves here. We can't play this until the turn after next. We have a 4 cost to play on 5, which is solid. Look at the top 5. Grab a Straw Hat Crew. They grab the Interiors at the Sabaody Archipelago. Top 5 Straw Hat Crew type searcher. They grab Luffy. They were not able to play Luffy on curve, which is nice for us. Now they could go, they're going to go Boa. Alright, they're going to reveal Brick Fist, give plus 2,000 to your leader or character, then KO a 2,000 power character. We will counter out here just because of what this aggro deck can do. I believe it is best to go ahead and counter out. I would like to keep the Luffy on the board as best as possible, so we're not going to be able to attack this. Can we attack? I don't really want to lose a bunch of cards in hand. I'd rather save it for the Luffy and then have more aggressors. So we're going to go Lilith into... That's pretty good. That crit's pretty good. Could even go into S-Snake just to not even have to lose any cards in hand. I don't really want to Nami and a Frankie and then lose all the cards we have. But at least this would filter a card. I don't really need to filter a card, but I would like to remove a card. I'd rather get the body on the board, I think, right now. So we're going to go deploy a card. We're going to deploy Nami, discard Frankie, pop the Boa, and then draw another card. Ooh, it's not great. Our opponent isn't going to go for lethal in this situation because they only have 6 Dawn. They're actually going to go with the 4-drop Luffy. They're going to use leader effect. They're going to go 5 with Rayleigh here, which we should counter out of. And we're in a rough spot. We're in a rough spot. They don't know that we have the other Nami. This is interesting. They're going to go Nami again. All right, so they grab a Radical Beam. Cool, cool. They're filtering through. They're finding all the pieces they need to really stay alive in an aggro to aggro matchup. They revealed 2 cards, so Observation Hockey and Observation Hockey. Sure, that's fine. They're going to go 5 and 5, it looks like. Because now they're going to go Luffy, reveal 2 events, then give one rested Dawn to your leader. So 5 and 6. We're going to let that go. So we should have kept that Frankie, man. Should have gone with the S-Snake instead. They're going to play out the Boa, look at the top 5, and go from there. Oh my gosh. They're going to have a Luffy. They have 8 cards in hand. They're going to be able to go 5 and then 6. Due to the situation, we almost have to counter out of this, right? We don't have to. Oh my gosh. Use the trigger. We're going to see what happens here. Take. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, okay, okay. So now we're going to be able to go 5 into 2. Oh, that's a good one. That is really good to have right there. Okay, okay. Whew. This was scary there for a minute. We're going to be able to go 5 at their face. They should counter out. We're going to go a bunch of 5s, 6s, all that stuff. We're going to be able to clear their board pretty aggressively here. They can go unblockable, which is really important to keep in mind. They can easily go unblockable. We know they have a ton of counter. They have a bunch of events, though, as well. They're going to use the trigger, pick no cards to draw. It's good for us. We're going to go another 6 into face here. That's going to be able to force out another 2k, probably the Observation Hockey, or not. They're going for unblockable. We can already see it. You can see what's setting up. We're going to go another 6 into face. We're going to pop, KO, draw, pop, KO, draw. Now we can go add to the top of life, Shaka. We could go Lilith to keep the counter in hand, because I think the counter is really important in this situation, even with all the cards they have in hand. Because that's going to force them to set up Radical Beams and the other, not Observation Hockey, but Armament Hockey or whatever. And then we can go Rush. That or going with Ace, but this at least replaces itself. Screw it, let's go Ace. Let's force out 2 cards. Let's get some pressure on. So our opponent now has to decide to go for game or stay alive. Because we have 9k counter in hand. We know they can go unblockable, so that's really important. They take again, but we know they have 4k counter, right? Observation Hockey is a 2k counter, I believe. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure. They're going to go Luffy here. Reveal 2. This is not counter, actually. Interesting. They're going to play out a Nami. Look at the top 5. Get a Dawn to their leader. So it's only a 3 cost that plays out 2 characters. They grab a Sanji for a 2k counter. They play the Observation Hockey. They grab a Conqueror's Hockey here. So they're going to leave 2 Dawn active, so we know they're going to swing 8 at us. 8 is actually something we can deal with, which is nice. 8 into Nami is actually perfectly fine. I'm okay with that, because they're going to Observation Hockey anyways. So that's fine with me. We can go Nami S-Snake here if we need to. We could go, we S-Snake first one of the Namis. I think we swing first. Force out a Conqueror's Hockey now. Because you'd like to use it against something like Ace, but that doesn't get you a ton of value. So I'm trying to force them into it now. Because I could just go for lethal. So now they can go 2k here with the Sanji. Then they can go Radical Beam. Conqueror's Hockey gets out of this perfectly. Yep, so now they go Conqueror's Hockey. We know they have Radical Beam. We know they have a 2k. So if we could go hit them for 7, that's going to force out the Radical Beam. Then I'm going to go for gaining a life. Add to the top of our life. We're actually going to add the Lilith. They can't really play around the Lilith. Then we're going to go Nami, discard Snake, pop Luffy, draw a card, and then we're going to sit on 2 Dawn, because we could get a counter event out of Lilith, and then pass to our opponent here. So they could go for removing the board, but I think we just... Okay, so they only had a 2k, another Observation Hockey, a 1k, and a Radical Beam. They were going to draw a Kid Killer. They would have had to have gone in for Rush, which would have been really annoying, because they would have to go, what? They could up by 2, which isn't great. They could up by 4 if your opponent has a 7,000 power character, which we would. So they could go 9k for 2 Dawn, tap 4 to go for 7, and then, so it'd be 6, 7, 9. Would have been the math there, because they could have gone 6 with Nami, 7 with this event, or 9 with this event, and 7 with the Kid Killer they were about to draw. So I guess that probably would have been the best math in this situation, and obviously that doesn't get them there, because they'd also need the unblockable, and even with, they didn't even have the unblockable, I don't think there's a way they survive through the next turn with only the 3k and the 4k and the 1k, 2k, maybe there is a way? I don't know. Observation Hockey is really good. I don't know. Interesting match there. Good game against Rayleigh. I think we just out-aggroed them, and I think we were able to develop a board and having a lot of control. The biggest thing I think in that matchup was the control elements with the Nami. Nami and Luffy were very important for this match specifically. I think even S-Snake would have came in clutch to stop a Nami attack just in case they didn't have like a Nami's, because we could have done that at some point, but we decided not to. Decided to instead control the board. Good match against Rayleigh. We're going to do one more match and try to actually find Akuma this time. Okay, the match I've not been excited for. We're going to take second here, and we're going to keep this hand. This is going to allow us to search for the pieces we're looking for. I have not seen a Kuma at all. They're going to go Perona, look at the top 5, and they're going to reveal a ... this. Oh, no, we're still waiting. Oh, they're going to reveal a Mihawk, the 8-cost blocker that restands for Dawn. Then you cannot play a 7-cost character. We have to watch out because they do play Hoodie Jones. What is this? Hey, we're playing an interesting Rush variant of the deck that I built, and so that's what we're cooking up right now. We're going to grab a Nami for control of the board. The Lilith would have been nice, but can't grab a Lilith. We don't really need a Lilith. They can rest this down, but they can't rest it down yet, so it's nice to have a Lilith to put some early pressure, at least get a swing in at our opponent at some point, because they can't rest it down just yet. So we're basically just being like, it's not really worth it for you to play a Tashigi or any of that kind of stuff. This is a hard matchup, man. I'm going to straight up just tell you, Zoro is a miserable matchup for Vegapunk. They're going to go 5-5. That sucks. We're going to take... Oh, we should have so countered the first one. Oh my gosh. That sucks as well. We're going to go 3. We'll go 5 in a face. I'm not worried. If they want to do Perona again, sure, attack with another Perona. We're going to go 3 for Duress Shishi. We're going to grab a Snake and a... Rayquaza isn't horrible. I guess we'll go Rayquaza for the longevity. We're going to go deploy a card, Vagorous, pass turn. So now if they rest Pythagoras, we can counter out, and then, or we can let it die and then play out a body. I can just counter out with an Edison, let it die, and then play out the Edison, get the draw 2, trash 2 filter. This is my OP12 build right here. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but even with the Kuma guys, this deck is not great. This deck is not great into this this match. They go for the Lilith instead, which I think isn't horrible. We will have to take this attack. We will have to take this attack. Draw 1 card, sure, because we're about to be able to play that blocker out with the Please Save Me event. This is not great. I'm sorry to keep saying it. It's just not looking good for us. We're going to be able to go 6 into our opponent here. I'm going to go S-Snake and then gain a blocker, or gain a Please Save Me. I think we're going to go S-Snake and then add Top of Life, Rayquaza, pass. So that gives us the option where they can't just go, we can go blocker for safety. We stop their attackers, so they can't just go, you know, what, 9, 9, 9, restand event 9 kind of thing. They can attack Pythagoras and then restand, and then attack whatever we play out rested, Lilith, and then attack again, and then hit us again for Please Save Me, and then we play something else out. That's an option in this situation. I don't know, I haven't played this Zoro matchup often, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have not played out this Zoro matchup many times, so we've got the Ace Blocker, or the Rusher, and we have the Katakuri Rusher. 2 rush options. This was my, again, OP12 variant, but we're going to stick with it. It was so hard to find a Zoro match, so this is the one we're dealing with. And Vegapunk's got a Vegapunk at the end of the day. They're running the Ezo? Okay, I see you, I see you. 6. They don't have a way to rest our character for 3 Dawn, so we almost could just take this, because we don't really have a 2K after this. If not, we can't save the character, so I'd rather use the trigger, and then we play out a Vegapunk to then play out a Atlas. You're gonna force me to discard this Katakuri, but that's fine. Then they can go for KOing our Pythagoras, because they're going to go 8 into Pythagoras. I'm going to say, I'm going to play out Lilith, look at the top 5, and grab a 2K counter. And then they're going to go 8K into us, and we're going to go 2K, 2K. I should have blocked. I meant to hit the blocker. Should have hit the blocker right there. Alright. We already know we're going to gain a life. We're going to go Rayquaza. We're going to go 5, so that's going to be a bunch of 6s across the board. 6s across the board sounds good to me. Because I am going to go Nami here. I'm going to go 6, possibly 7, but I think we're going to go 6, just for safety. Electrical Luna. Oh, they want to take off the aggression instead of the blocker. Interesting enough. I guess they have a way to handle the blocker, it sounds like. We're playing right into DMG. Let me tell you. We're playing straight into DMG. Drop the Nami, pop the Chigi, draw a card. We're sitting on 5K counter. 2 blockers, or 1 blocker. So DMG cooks right now. But that would be 4 Dawn, and they would need a restand event, so they could go 7. It's not great for them either, so DMG isn't really our enemy. They could go Hody. Hody is an enemy. Hody is an op, but they go Drakiel Mihawk. I think even if they did have the 4 Dawn for Deadman's game, they just rest the Vegapunk and the Dawn. It's not great for our opponent in that situation. We're gonna have to find a way to survive. Now they can go 10 into a character, 10 into a character, and then 10 more into face. I think the only thing that's cooking right now is having the Vegapunk. We're gonna have to let this body die and then save the life and then go double Please Save Me, because then that forces them to hold the DMG. Then we can block. Okay, so we're gonna have to let this character go, and then we're gonna have to block out of this lethal attack, this attack into life. We're gonna have to block out of that. It's actually good that we saved the blocker now that I'm seeing this. I see a line, right? We're gonna be able to go ace on this next one. It's gonna be 5, so we have basically 3 additional Dawn. I wanna save 1 just to put them in a weird spot. So now we can go, we have 2 blockers. We do have 2 blockers in life, so we can go 6, 7. So I guess we can go 6, see what our opponent wants to do. Actually, I should have gone 5, because then I can go 8, try to force out the Mihawk. They would get a free block, but I don't want to show them they can get a free block, so I want to see them block and then 1K. That's what I want to see. I want to see a block and 1K, so we're not expecting rush here, right? That was exactly my thought. So now we can go 5 Dawn with a rush and attack in for 7. Then we can gain a life with a Rayquaza pass. So now we can go Rayquaza blocker, block, Rayquaza blocker, DMG, rest the blocker. We're sitting on 3K counter. That's probably the best in this situation, to stay alive. I know we're playing really into so much, but that's kind of how this situation is cooking. I don't think Kuma saves us in any of these situations. They're gonna go Hody first? What the heck? What the hellio? What the heliante? What? Maybe they're going for board here? Because obviously you get free 8K here within the board, which makes sense. And another 8K. That sucks. If only we had one single 2K counter. Not gonna let that go. I will get out of that. Maybe I should have saved Luffy in case they play Koshiro. Electrical Luna, my ass. Watch this. Whoops, no, that could have been bad. 10 at face. We're gonna put you in a weird spot too. All right, you take, at the top of life, blocker, pass. Now we're both in a weird spot. How about that? How about screw you, we're both in a horrible spot. We're both feeling miserable about this game. What are you gonna do now? Hoodie Jones again? I dare you. And I'm gonna be kind of mad when they do, because that's kind of what I'm expecting. Because they can easily just go 8 into body. Yep. Let it go. And they can go 8 into body. Or they can go restand event. Yeah, 8. And then they can do a restand event. And then 8 here. That's actually the wrong choice. See, because if I could counter out of this, I guess they could attack here. And they guarantee we can't attack. Which is fine, but still not the greatest. Now they're gonna go 8 into face. Well, they're gonna go 8 into Atlas here with Hoodie Jones. Go and remove it. They're not gonna attack our life, because then we get a body on the board to attack. At least I would assume they're not going to. They just pass. They just pass. So I could just go 12. That forces out the blocker. They could block. One cost event won't work for the Mihawk. So they would have to block 2K, 2K, 2K. We're assuming they have a DMG here. So we can just go ahead and just remove the blocker off the board. I think 12 is the number here. Because even if they could block and then 2K, 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 1K, that's their whole hand, right? And then we just go, do I lose next turn if I don't, if I take these hits, right? They would have to go Hoodie, restand, restand, block, block, restand. We have more blockers than they do restands, right? Because we've already seen them use 2. So we're going to deploy a card, which is going to be the Atlas. So now they would have to be able to attack the Atlas and the body on the board and remove the so we're good, because they'd have to hit they'd have to go to Shigi for 5, put 3 Dawn on leader, rest at Pythagoras, 8 to Pythagoras, we play out a body. They'd have to then go, ooh, I guess that could work too. That works for what they were trying to do, because now they can go 8 and then 8 and then now they can clear off the board, but they can't do much else. They legit can't do much else other than clear off this board, because now they have to swing the what? Take, use trigger. I'm a little confused. I am very confused by that situation. I just let that go, and I just play out Lilith, and then I just grab something from the top 5 just in case they have something. But now they can attack my Lilith, and I just let the Lilith die. They attack my life, I use the trigger, and I play out anything. I don't understand that. They just fumbled there in the end. They could have gone for controlling the board, but even if they wait and wait and wait, it's just a waiting game until they run out of stuff to rest stuff. They had another Hoodie? You gotta be kidding me. They had another freaking Hoodie. Then they go blocker. Blocker kind of messes us up. Then Shimatsky. Shimatsky doesn't do much, but then they're sitting on 2K, 2K, 2K. We go for lethal in the next game, on the next turn though. For sure we go for lethal. We got another blocker to add a life to. Nami, pop this blocker here. Draw a card, filter through the deck. I think we had that game. Wow, that was insane. I cannot believe we actually beat Zoro there. That was actually really amazing. I'm perplexed. Here is the Kuma list that we've all been talking about. See the Kuma? This is the Kuma list we've all been waiting for. I also choose to go second. Probably should have chose to go first every single time against the Katakuri. But hey, who knows? I'm known to fumble. We're going to deploy the Luffy, just able to pop the character, the pudding, pretty early, which is always nice because we're going to be able to put 2 bodies on the board. They're going to go for the searching event. They're going to be able to look at the top of the deck. They know they're not going to get value out of pudding at the moment, so that's nice for us. We can't always pop the Parasparrow, so we're going to look for a Nami on the next turn. We could go Dareshi. We could go Dareshi Lilith, honestly. It gives us options for sure. Now we don't get as much value from popping the character. They're going to swing 6 at us. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to take every time, man. Every freaking time, bro. I just got to learn how to counter. I got to learn what countering really is. I'm going to look at the top 5. We're going to grab a... Can't grab that, though. 2K Shaka. I think that's pretty good. And then we're going to go 6 in a face here. Not too worried if they attack this body now that we have such a big hand size. And these characters are replacing themselves. And that's really nice. We're going to deploy the Lilith, look at the top 5, and grab a... This is actually not horrible, but we're going to go with a Nami to remove the body off the board. Removing the body is a lot more important. They're going to be able to go 6 into 6 here. Not that bad. 6 in a face here. Really not that bad either. They're going to go 6 into 6, just like we talked about. I'm going to give them the 1K counter Vegapunk, I think, in this situation. Not too worried about giving that up because we do have the event for later. I'm going to pop this Parasparrow every day of the week. So I'm going to make sure I can remove the bodies off the board and do my thing. I'm about to be doing my thing. They discard. Ooh, that card looks so cool. I don't remember where this is. Oh, this is from the new box, I think. The new illustration box. That card's cool. Another Anane is really annoying, though. We're going to go 5 in a face. We're going to go 6 in a face. We're going to probably just leave the Luffy. I don't think there's anything I want to KO here. I don't know that they really play any 4 costs I want to KO anyways, but this card is just an automatic pseudo blocker. They want to remove this Luffy just so you don't get value out of it. And I'm like, sure, give me a 6K leader, basically. I will take that every single day of the week. We won't have a way to really get our hand size down Yeah, I guess we're controlling the Katakuri too. They can't just leave the Katakuri on the board and set up for later. So that's nice. We're going to pop it and actually get rid of the blocker. I totally switched up on you guys. We're going to go 5, discard, remove. And then I'm going to go deploy a card, deploy, Shaka, pass. Now we're sitting on a ton of counter. Now I have a 6K blocker on the board, and I saw a whole different line. They go 7-drop pudding here. Play Parasparrow. We have another removal option for Parasparrow. They're going to go 5, 6. We're actually just going to give them a 2K because I would block in 2K here, so I might as well. Now we're going to be able to go reveal Dareshi. So we know we're getting Dareshi at least. That's nice. We can go Kuma, drop Dareshi, 1 Dawn. So we have 6 and then 1. So we have 1 extra for one of our events here. So we're going to be able to gain a lot of life is what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? That's what I'm seeing personally. Because I'm going to go Kuma for 6. So let's just go 5 at your face. And then another 5 at your face. 8-drop Katakuri would be miserable, but I'm glad they put Parasparrow on the board. They really want to put this Parasparrow out. I guess it's to get Dawn back. I don't really know. My personal opinion, this isn't what I would do. I'm going to go boom, bam, gain a life, and then I'm going to go deploy a card, Nami, drop one of the Rayquazars, pop the Parasparrow, draw a card, 8-drop Kata, pretty freaking good. Pass the turn, 1 Dawn active, 2K counter, 8-drop Katakuri. We're kind of cooking up. Hold up. Vegapunk is not done for. I thought my favorite deck was about to be nerfed. We're going to free block out of that every day of the week. 7 Dawn. They're going to go another pudding here. Oh my gosh. I saw it coming. I saw the line, man. They're going to go into 8-drop Kata. They're going to swing 5. I think I just let it go, honestly. I'm going to have to clear it anyways off my own board to play out our own 8-drop Katakuri. So I'm just going to go put this on the bottom of the life. We're going to remove it. I'm going to go 5 in the face, 5 in the face, 7 in the face. Add a little to the top of life, because then I can drop my blocker on the next turn. That or they need to remove it. So we're going to go 5 more in the face. I could go Rayquazar, but Rayquazar is not great here. I could just play Lilith out as active just to have another active body, honestly. Because then that means they have less characters to swing into, so I just go remove this and gain me a life, sure. That's actually the best option in this situation, because they're only going to 7 Dawn. So we're going to go deploy a card. We're going to play Lilith as active in this situation. And then we're going to grab something to develop next turn or have to counter. I think we're going to go counter, because then we can sit with this, put this into life, and then go Shaka. So that should mean we're safe, because now it's like, pop my Nami, cool. Are you going to be able to pop my Kuma, though? No, you can't. So they're going to go 5 in a Nami. We could counter out. Then we block for 5. They're going to go 6 in a Nami. We could even counter out of that if we wanted, or we just block and let it go. We have options. For show. I'd probably just let it go in that situation. Vegapunk really just is my deck. The thing is if we counter this, then they go 5 more. Then they're going to go 6 here. We only lose 1 card in hand out of that situation. So I think that's the best. We just let Nami go. We block, and then we counter. They go with another freaking pudding, man. Another one. 8-drop Katakuri. Oh my Lanta. They draw a bunch of cards. They're going to go 5 at face. We're going to block. Then they're going to go 6 at face. Dawn -1. Try to run into this. Oh, 6 at us. Not even Dawn -1. I see you. So they're trying to get to 8 Dawn on this next turn to drop another Katakuri, because they're expecting to take this Katakuri into hand. So got to keep that in mind. We don't really have a body to develop, so we're going to take no trigger here. That kind of sucks. All I really need to do is gain 1 life, so I guess I'm going to go 9 into life. I'm going to go 10 into life, because now they have to block 2K, 1K, right? And then I'm going to go 10 more with Lilith. I'm going to gain a life, because the reason I'm doing 10, normally you would want to go 9, but the leader effect is a free Dawn -1 to get plus 1,000, right? So now they become 6, and then it's 2K, 2K, 1K. So in case you were wondering why I was doing 10, that is the exact reason. Now what we can do is 2K, 2K, 1K, they get out of it. We go out of the top of our life, Rayquazar, 6K counter, blocker in the trash, blocker in the trash. That would not force us to discard a card at this moment. They can go 8-drop Katakuri and clear board, which is probably the best in this situation, so we need to keep our board. We need to keep 3 bodies on the board to get through the 2 blockers. But then we need to be able to swing high enough. So we'd have to do the similar swings to what we just did. So I think that's the most important thing now, is keeping the board. Because they can't even go 8-drop Katakuri now. So do they just split, or do they go pudding into another Katakuri? So then that would just be a bunch of 5s. I think we just let this go and then force them to really just swing big with these other characters. They could go 8 into 7 or 8 into 8. I can counter out of those, right? I think that's the thing that makes the most sense. I've got my cat climbing into my basket over here. What a weirdo. He's such a weirdo. Now they have to go pudding again. I don't think they have another pudding. There's almost absolutely no way. But they can't really remove our characters off the board either. We know they have 1 brick for sure. They grab a 5k counter. Oh my Lanta. 5k counter is tough. So now they just need to sit on Dawn, similar to what we've basically done. So we just need to stay alive. We have to keep these bodies on the board. That is the most important thing right now. To get through the blockers, because they only have one blocker. They can at most go 7-7 and get through this. They're not going to Nane, because we know they need to go at least another 7 here with Katakuri. So we can actually keep all of these characters alive. They didn't want to put the extra Dawn here on Katakuri, so it forced them in a position where they have to, or they need to put down a Nane. A Nane would be annoying, but we need to top deck the right card, because we did have to get our 1 cost. So they're sitting on 2 Dawn here. 5k is pretty good against that, right? I think we just go 9, we just go 11, then they just go 5k, 2k, which is this is going to take a lot of math, because math is important in this game. We have 3 swings total if needed. They can go -1 Dawn, it's going to become 6k. Look at the top of our life, and then +5, that brings them to 11. So the first attack could be 11, but then they can block out of the second attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that'd be 12. They can just block out and let Katakuri go, or they could block and then use the same effect again, get out of the attack completely, right? Because of the card's effect. Oh my gosh, we'd have to go 13. So it'd have to be 11, 13, and then we still have the Shaka as an option, but I don't think we win if we swing the Shaka, right? I think we need to be okay being defensive. So we're gonna go 11 to start. That's gonna force out the Dawn -1 and the 5k and a 1k, I believe. So we're gonna go 11, 13 or 11, 12, because we can go 6 Dawn here on Kuma. So they are going to do the Dawn -1, check the top of our deck, and then tap 1 Dawn, get +5k, because they've already showed no blocker here. Now they announce the top of our deck, which is going to be a Pythagoras. Pythagoras is going to get them to 11, and then they're going to have to give us a 1k, 2k, that works too. So now we can go 4, 5, 6 onto Kuma, which will be the 13, right, which would be block. Let's see how this card works. Does it work for your leaders of characters? So that would make 13 on the character. It'd only be the card in a 1k, and they have all these swings, but it's about all we have. So 13 into face here. They block. They're gonna do it. Oh my gosh, they get to keep the Katakuri. We know they have another Katakuri in hand, but they cannot Katakuri next turn. So they get the +5, and they let it go. So they didn't even have extra counter. So we're going to add a card to the top of our life just to be safe, the Edison, and then pass. So we're going to sit on a... Well, they called it GG's. They called it GG's. We beat the Katakuri somehow. I honestly don't know how, but hey, Vegapunk, maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm over exaggerating whenever I say this deck is just cooked in OP12. My favorite deck is done for. When I say that, maybe I'm just wrong. I beat a Zoro today. I beat a Rayleigh. I beat a purple Kata. What is going on here? This is kind of crazy. I'm excited for OP12 again. Hey guys, we're back. We're not even playing Zoro like we planned to. No, we'll play another game and see how we do in this OP12 meta. But hey, maybe Vegapunk is a little more back than we thought. Hey yo, Buggy, I'm choosing first. I think that's what I do because I'm the worst. This is good and it's bad. It's great for second because we can go into the 3 Dawn and go Dareshi. We're gonna have to mulligan that hand though. It's not great for first. We're gonna go deploy a card, deploy Pythagoras, pass. We don't have to attack on the second turn here. We're on our first attacking turn. We don't have to. We can go more for just developing board, which I think is the best option in the situation. We can go deploy a card, Shaka, and then just pass, because then they can just go 6, and I don't really want to lose more cards in hand when I can just attack twice in the next turn, which I think is a little more important in the situation. I think that's a little better. If they attack us, we get another body on the board, sure, I'll take it. I ain't gonna be mad. I'm not gonna stop you, Buggy. We'll stop you if you're just going 5. I'm not gonna... If you go rush Usopp on me, sure, you hit me. I don't really care. They're gonna go Alvita. Alvita's solid. It gives them a draw 3, trash 2. We're gonna sit here with 5 cards in our hand. I wonder what we're gonna play down. Oh, Nami into Lilith. So we're gonna discard the Vegapunk, depending on what we draw. But right now it's looking like Vegapunk. They draw 3, trash 2. So they're gonna have 7 cards in hand. They're gonna drop 7 Croc and 7 Croc blocker, attack stopper, the Shoe Buggy. So 1 Dawn there, so we can go 6 into our opponent. We're gonna go 6 and 6, which I think is a good option. So 6 and then 7. I'm gonna force them down. If they're gonna take that 6, I'm gonna hit them harder. We are going to go deploy a card, Nami. I think I'm gonna stick with the original plan and drop the Vegapunk. I don't know, they go pretty wide. Now we're gonna drop that, we're gonna trash them, and then we are gonna go Lilith. We could go Dareshi, but I think having more attackers in this situation is better. And then we could grab Rayquaza, because we already have a Nami. This isn't gonna do much, especially because they're about to play 2 bodies. Removal's not bad though, but if they go 7-drop Shoe Buggy, well they just dropped 1, so I don't think they will. They're gonna go 8-drop Croc, which is where Nami's gonna be strong. We're actually gonna go Nami. I changed my mind. Switch around. Whoop, 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 whoop. Switch around. Change it up. Seen that a few times in this videos. Change it up. You can find a Kuma. This is not search Kuma though. It searches over Kuma actually, because Kuma does not have a trigger. Fun fact, in case you didn't know, Kuma, no trigger at all. Can't search it. They're gonna do 5. They are gonna do Shoe Buggy, which stops our Mihawk, which is the best situation because the Nami. I was talking about it, but hey, I get it. Dang, they got lucky. No blocker. Okay, we're gonna be able to draw 2 cards, so I'm fine with that. Just putting on more pressure is always gonna be good. We're not gonna be able to attack with Lilith, so she does absolutely nothing. Let's search first. Look, we search over this. We search over this every single time. Lilith is not great now. Luffy's solid, but they're all gonna get +1 cost. So we're definitely gonna go Shaka, and I think we're gonna go Narukabaru Arrow. I think we're gonna actually go there. Go more defensive, because they're all the characters they play out that are 4 cost are gonna become 5 cost. This can't hit anything else. So I think we just go with the Arrow. And then we're gonna be able to put a body on the board. So we're gonna be able to go 6, 6, 7. So 6, which is fine. They trashed the Sanji's Pilaf. Interesting. We're actually going to go 7 first, and then they're going to block a 1K. They're just going to take. And I'm not even attacking with the Shaka. I don't even want to waste the Dawn. I'd rather keep the bodies on the board. So I'm going to go deploy a card. Shaka, pass. What you got for me, buddy? I'm sitting on the 1 Dawn. I have 4K other counter. So I'm going to have 7K total. I can keep my bodies alive. What can they do? They could Gravity Blade. Gravity Blade would be bad, because then they can go 6K, 7K, which is not good for us. Not good, in fact. Not good, because Gravity Blade, really good card. Really good. They're playing the 2K Buggy, which is interesting. They are going to go Mihawk, which is going to stop our removal, or it's going to force them to discard a card when we want to remove something. They go Kabaji, so that's a 6K blocker on the board, which is good. It's a good card to have, but now they're sitting on a 6K and a 7K blocker. They're going to go 5 at us. We're going to go block for free, and then I think they're just going to be done. I don't think they have anything else after that. We're going to be going into 8, 9, 7, 9 Dawn. They're going to go into this character. I'm going to go 2K counter. I'm going to save the bodies on the board while we can, because then you can play out a 4K character, but that's not great. They go Crocodile Mihawk. That sucks. I think we just pile on a lot of pressure. They gave us the blocker this turn, so I don't think we worry about that, right? They gave us the room to attack aggressively, so I think we do. Let's go 7 at face. They should counter out of this, because I don't really need any blockers, do I? Because they only have 3 attackers. As long as we can survive that, we're good. So we actually can attack with our blockers this turn. So we can actually go, technically we could go 8, 9. So 7, they kind of need to counter this, because then we can go 8, which they won't be able to save the Kabaji. And then we could go 9 even into their blocker if we want to control that, depending on how they react to an 8. Because we have a full board. I don't need to put bodies on the board. Shoot. We're going to go 8, 8, because they're just going to give us the blocker here, I'm assuming. They could save the blocker, which is okay, but it's not great. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not that worried about it. Because they can go 10 cost Buggy, remove 1 body, and they have a 7, 7, 5. But I just don't think I'm worried about any of that. They should just give us the blocker and let the blocker die, in my opinion. They're gonna go 2K, 1K. Okay. I see you. Do I agree with you? No. But do I see you? Yes. I'm actually going to deploy a card. I'm gonna deploy the Nami, right? Over the Lilith, of course. Trash the Atlas. Target the Kabaji. It forces them to discard a card. I wasn't planning on it, but it works. We get to draw a card. Oh, shoot. We weren't gonna have a chance to lose if we drew any counter at all. Right now, it's looking like there's a chance. Is it a great chance? No. But is it a possible chance? Yes. They may just sit on 2 blockers to remove our board. They could do that. Don't think I'm worried about that, because they could just go block, 10 drop, remove. So they go 7, 7, 7. So they're going to be 7, 7. So we'll let the first go. We'll knock up our arrow the second. If we had a 2K, it would change things, but we didn't, so it's okay. The situation actually worked out. So it's going to be 7, 7, 10 drop, blocker. I'm going to go arrow, -3, resolve attack. They could go another 7, but I think it's better to hold the blockers instead in this situation, in my personal opinion. They are going to go 5, discard a card, play out 10 drop Buggy, and then bottom deck one of our 6K characters, which is going to be the one that would probably be most effective in this situation. So we can play this for 1 Dawn, which is pretty good. So we could just go 9, 9. I think we're just going to go 9, 9 and see what they do. So I think it's just going to be block. Could go 7, 7. I don't hate 7, 7 and then deciding. Starting with a 7 just to see, because now they have to counter, rather than if we just go 9, they just block, and then that forces us into another 9. Because then if we don't go another 9, we go 7, they block 1K, and that forces us to go all the way in with Shaka. So they go 1K, 1K, 1K. That tells me they don't have 2Ks, right? So we just go 8. That's gonna be block here with Kabaji. And then we go 9. It's gonna be block here with Mihawk. We go deploy a card, Vegapunk, because they have 3 cards. We go Shaka, sure. And then we pass. We're sitting on 2 blockers now for 2 life, and they have to hit us 3 total times. 1 Dawn active. There's not much they can do in this situation. Holy cow, dude. Vegapunk is on a freaking tear, brother. I am so freaking back, my guy. Holy cow. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good. I thought Vegapunk was over 4. I thought this meta was just going to destroy my leader. I thought it was going to be all raps and game and GG's and on to the next. And no, not for this set. We may actually be back. Yes, some of these situations are better than others, but hey, we're here. We're good. So they could go 4 costs to remove the Shaka. So they would go 4. No, because then they wouldn't give us this attack so easily. We're going to take this and see what happens. This is weird. They could go blocker. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. We know they only have at most 3k counters, 1 2k and 2 1ks at the most. They could go 4 costs and then 10 costs, but that wouldn't really help them. I think we're gonna let this go as well. I guess we're playing into a Gravity Blade. Now I just block with the 0 cost. Now we're playing into Gravity Blade. No Gravity Blade, just Drakeul Mihawk. Draw 2, trash 1. I still think in this situation it's just going all out, right? 10? That's GG's. They only had 2k counter in hand. Hey, good game to our opponent. GG's in the chat for you. That was Vegapunk. That was Vegapunk. I'm really amazed by the OP12 turnout of Vegapunk. I don't know why we didn't see more of this deck being played. Of course, it's not the best deck out there, but I would have loved to have seen at least a few Japanese deck profiles to see where I need to structure my deck list in the future. The Kuma was not horrible. I didn't actually have high expectations for the Kuma in the start, but it did a lot better performance-wise than I thought with the 1 or 2 games we saw it. We didn't see it often. We did run as a 4 of them. We only saw it a couple times, but the card did work when we needed it to in the 1 game that we used it, and when we didn't need it, it was more just like discard fodder. It was just good counter to have, I guess. So I'm interested to see what you guys are cooking up with Vegapunk and OP12. If you have deck lists, please leave them in the Discord down below. Subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff for your boy. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.